Sally Chiwuzie here.
What if everything we've learned about love so far is wrong?
I'm smiling because I've got a really interesting one for you tonight. So let me start by saying this. Love is a word we hear constantly. It's in songs, in poetry, it's in music. But what does it really mean? And more importantly, how do we experience love in a way that doesn't just exist, but lasts through heartbreak, through growth, through every phase of life? This past week, I hosted a special gathering, a night filled with music, stories, and reflections on love.
All the different variations of love. So your job tonight is to clap for us because we're very nervous and to enjoy yourselves as well. So have fun. At this point, I'll just hand over to Laura to do one song while I get my nerves in order, and I will offer you some love quotes. Thank you.
But not just romantic love, platonic love, romantic love, self-love, and what I discovered is this: every kind of love has one foundation: self-love.
And whispered, "I am enough." Then she said it again, louder. Day by day, the words sank in, and finally, the mirror reflected what had been true all along. She was worthy, not because someone else said so, but because she believed in herself.
Without it, love wobbles. With it, love is unshakable. Tonight, I'm bringing you on that journey. You'll hear voices from the event, real conversations, and raw truths about love in all its forms. And I'm joined by 3 incredible guests, and I suppose a plus one. A special one, very different, each at different stages of life and love, to explore what love really looks like beyond the Instagram version we often see. I hope you enjoy it.
Wow, that's a nice list. It's a beautiful.
Let's go. So how you been?
Oh my god, long time no see, sir.
I gotta get stuff on my mind.
I'll see you here, man. Please. Hi, NK. Hi.
We're here with trouble.
Lights, camera, action.
Good evening, Sally Chiwuzie here, owner and founder of the brand Unshakable. You know the motto, unshakable is a state of mind. Take your state of mind with you everywhere you go. Be unshakable, be in truth with yourself, love yourself. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to another episode of Chronicles of Unshakable Truths. We are carrying on from the euphoria of Tuesday evening. So most of us were at the event, which was amazing. Obviously, we talked about variations of love, and we are here to continue. So we've had a pre-conversation already. We're just going to explore more themes about love, seen as is Valentine's week anyway. So what if everything we've learned about love so far is wrong? Let's go to...
Most people know me as Homer. I'm just a regular guy and a friend of Sally's, and I think the conversation here today is an ideal thing, or an ideal opportunity to sort of deep dive into what she calls this love thing. So you have a question for me?
Yeah, so as a man in a long-term relationship,
right,
with no children within the relationship,
right,
how does commitment change when children aren't part of the equation? So I think you've seen it from both angles.
My view to commitment is, as you get a little bit more mature, commitment becomes a bit easy. When you're younger, the distractions don't allow you to do the things that foster commitment. So once I started to understand that, my technique was to be always transparent with my partner, as in bring her along. So she's met all my female friends. She's comfortable with my female friends, so because I have a few of them, and she can pretty much. I mean, you know that I operate with the understanding that as soon as there is a behavior pattern or something from me that she doesn't understand and I'm not transparent about, she's going to have the opportunity to start thinking about stuff, and I need to explain those things. So she normally knows within certain respect that I'm at this place and doing that, and she never really discloses.
So open and honest.
Yeah,
basically.
I think I discovered most women appreciate when you're open and honest with them, and it gives me less clutter and complication. As in, I don't have to think about a lie. I mean, I've been a guy that used to lie to females because I thought it was the thing, but it's a waste of time. As in, you thought it was effective, but you were just not
dig a hole for yourself.
Yeah, you were not because most women are quite
smart.
Oh no,
Intuitive.
Intuitive.
I was going to say intuition. Intuitive.
And most women are
Extremely.
sensitive enough sometimes because a man can really get hurt if you make a fool of him. So you keep that away from him, that you actually know he's doing this thing and that he's a fool. And that's sometimes when you discover that, you just feel that bit. So you don't need to lie to a woman. She'll accept your truth if you come clean. And it's not what most people think is that, oh, she'll hold it against you and all that. Of course, if you've made a mistake or you've done something silly, I mean, come on. So yeah, so my commitment is quite easy. So I know where I'm coming to every night. I know that this is the place I want to be. So my conversation with other women, even women that like me or are attracted to me, is quite easy. I'm not saying, oh, I'm not trying to go with you because I'm with X, Y, Z. I know that there's nothing out there as good as what I've got. So I'm not interested. I'm happy to have fun, talk and play, and but I do understand where it's dangerous that this particular woman is not the person to have access to me in that way. But all the other women that I know as females that have access to me understand the boundaries, and I'm cool with it. So I have a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Oh, do you wanted to chip in?
My
As you
name is Ike Tamino Ezimora, and everyone
Forgot
says
Andrew.
Andrew. Honesty is sort of subjective, and it depends on.
Honesty is subjective.
No,
I
I
felt
mean,
like there was only one version of the truth. So-
But he said it's best to tell women the truth all the time. In my experience, it kind of has backfired sometimes. That's all I have to say. So it's my own personal experience. I don't know if. I'm not saying that as a general rule you should lie, and lying is subjective too. All those things need to be defined.
I think let me clarify what I meant in terms of being transparent. In my profession, I'm a lawyer, so you don't exactly lie. You don't lie.
This was very well thought through.
You don't lie.
Yeah.
You're free to retain information. And
Exactly. That's what I meant. So retaining information is not a lie. That's what I'm referring to.
Economical with the truth.
No.
I have the right
You
to
tell the
retain
truth,
information.
but you don't have to disclose things that you judge are not relevant. It's about need to know.
That's exactly
But
it.
here's the ultimate thing that leads to this working, right? Don't do the things you're not supposed to do. You understand? Because the problem is people do the things they're not supposed to do and tell the truth about it. Then everything blows up.
Yeah.
That's not. You do the things you're supposed to do so that when you speak your truth, it's the whole truth, and you're confident and comfortable with it. And that's what I really mean. So I'm not saying that I'm on the low with this person,
So
right? And then I come home and then I tell the truth.
You do things then you will not have any need to retain any information.
You're transparent. And
you're being transparent.
But
Yes.
I think Ike is getting something else here. By the way, Ike separated for a while with 2 grown adult children. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't think what Sam was saying. I know your name.
Yes.
Was I don't think you agree fully. So
no, I agree. I think that's this relationship is very individual. It's based on individuals coming together, right? What I was referring to was a blank, like the need to know and the right to always know what I'm doing, etc. And there are things that I don't necessarily have to say and talk about. And I feel like in relationships, there's a pressure to have someone behind like a bird watching you everywhere you go, and I feel sometimes it's very intrusive. It's possibly my personality, so it makes me very defensive, and other people are very open to like, hey, where were you? Why did you come back late? And it just becomes kind of tedious, having to like a child. It's almost like you're being policed constantly. So I'm not sure if I've deviated from the
No,
issue of
But I
lying.
think that would then depend on the person you're in the relationship with.
Yes,
So
and that's why I said it's
not
it's-
everyone is going to be policing you.
That's
and
why I
saying,
said
where
it
have you
depends
been?
on-
When? So it really depends, right?
It depends on the
Experience
person.
has taught me. I think I may not have communicated things and saying properly. Because what you're saying is actually not what I'm saying.
That's what I was. That's exactly what I just said. That I deviated completely.
As a matter of fact, I don't get policed at all. As a matter of fact, I don't get interfered with. I am just transparent. So you don't ask me because you already know to some extent. And I'm not taking permission, or I'm not. Do you understand what I mean? It's like half the time I'm doing things and not really telling you, but you understand. If you pick up the phone and try and reach me, I could pretty much pick it up and tell you, oh, I'm in the police station, or I'm at Sally's.
Police
You know,
station
so-
interviewing criminals, not that is being picked up, by the way. Just putting it out there. Chronicles of Unshakable News would not be here.
We're shaking the unshakable.
We can say things like that, and
Well, look,
Go
man,
viral for the
whatever it is,
if
basically.
you've never been arrested, you've not lived.
True, most people
I know,
have.
but you're saying
Being
it like
arrested is
multiple
not.
times. I'm in the police station, like, mate, what are you doing there? You know? So,
It's like,
okay, all right, fair enough.
So yeah, sorry, we were saying different things.
Yeah.
And I agree with him.
oh yeah.
Oh, you agree with
If
me?
you're not policed, it's easier for you to tell the truth.
If you're
And
not
not,
police,
it's,
it's
it's not about telling the truth. Sorry, what I was trying to say was invasive
Yeah.
policing.
Nobody's gonna put up with that. I
And it
wouldn't
can
put up
But
with that.
lead
that's
to
a
bad
sign
behavior.
of
Also,
insecurity, right?
most
so
people
excessive
are insecure, sweetheart.
policing
Yeah,
is a sign of but then there are levels of insecurity,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And the experiences they had before, everything joined.
Okay, all right, okay. So how does that tie into self-love, right? Excessive policing, for example, is a sign of insecurity.
Yeah, on
So
that basis,
does
yeah.
that mean a lack of self-love? So does you owning your right to your own privacy
Yeah,
indicate self-love on
absolutely,
your part?
absolutely.
And if she's policing you excessively, does that indicate a lack of self-love on her part?
Yeah,
I
because
think
also
that's
there's
the
that.
question.
What about the
Yeah,
issues of
exactly.
pride? What about your like dignity as a human? You can't like constantly be asking someone like where. I mean, it's
No,
like
but what if
I
that
mean, man or
person
woman,
puts
actually,
you in
sorry.
that situation where you have to ask questions? If the guy is dodgy, doing dodgy things, why does that make me insecure when I ask you a question?
okay, so
I mean, excessive police, I mean, you can't really be
not
nasty about it,
bunny
but
boiler
what?
behavior,
What?
but
no, but
you
if
know.
you're in a
These
relationship,
insecurities are
if you're in a
caused also by the
relationship, you're right.
partner
You still
or-
have
Yes.
you can't just be in a relationship and not be answerable. That's
Okay.
not you know.
Exactly.
You have to
And
be
if you're being
answerable.
dodgy, you're coming back at 2 a.m. and someone says, where have you been? And you're like, don't ask me questions. Excuse me. Over time, the
No, of course, there's no doubt
woman
about
is
it.
going to get insecure.
And hence I'm
or the man
separated.
is
So
going
I'm
to
not
get
saying I'm not saying what I'm saying is
I
right
just
by the
believe,
way.
look,
So
why be in a
I'm not-
relationship to make anyone insecure? Please, everyone should be single and do what they want to do.
in effect,
This is what I believe. Actually, when you decide to be in a
then
relationship,
you have to be properly in it.
yes,
Absolutely. I
If
agree
you
with
can't
that.
be in a proper relationship, please be single.
When you're open and transparent, right? You can create an environment where you have the types of relationship you want. So
Thank you.
I remember when I first separated from like the mother that had a child for me, because I was absent that. But that's a totally different question because this relationship is different. Now, at that time, I wasn't looking for a long-term relationship. And every female I met, actually, I said, look, I want to work on myself. I want to develop myself at this point in time. I was
It's
partying
not
with
you,
like
it's me,
Adebayo and that. I
basically.
said, no, it's not that. I'm just saying, listen, I'm not ready to give you a commitment. I'm having fun. You want to play, it's cool, but and that's when I discovered don't lie to women. To my surprise, there were women who were like, you know what, I'm cool with
Because
that.
they're happy with the honesty.
I said, I'm cool with
Some
that.
of them though.
No,
right?
yeah, the women who
Some-
didn't. I mean,
I'm
the fact
sorry,
was that
I
I wasn't chasing. Right? They were attracted to me, so I was able to say, look, I don't want that, but you got an itch, we can scratch. That's it, and it was cool for them, and I could have as many. So it wasn't about commitment, and I was out every night. I was coming back whatever time. Anyone that got upset, I was like, oh, no more conversation, block, in the bin. And that was it.
Oh dear.
You understand? But
Yeah,
it's a
sounds
different
quite
thing.
normal.
Well, it sounds like today's dating market, to be fair.
Okay.
It sounds like every man today, because basically the situation is this. Yeah, let's play husband and wife, but let's realize that we're acting. So you cook for me, sleep with me, chill with me, rub my back. I'll tell you all my problems. You know, you can solve them for me, but we're not in a relationship.
Okay.
That's gone a couple steps more than I did. Because I wasn't looking for that comfort. I wasn't trying to burden the female at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't have time. Because I was just really trying to reconstruct myself. I was not in the best of place at the time.
So you're saying you were really honest about it?
Yeah, I was.
No,
I
that's
was
sort of honesty I agree with.
It was
Upfront,
almost cheeky.
this is not, I didn't want this,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
It was,
That's
But it was
honesty,
what
yeah.
it was.
Point blank.
It's what it is.
And it was to the point, and it was amazing. It was.
Why? Because you were having fun? Or because
Listen,
you were discovering yourself? Or?
As a matter of fact, I didn't take on a lot of the offers because it was just mad. Obviously, the aesthetics of it was that I was quite muscular and I was attractive and I had long hair. So it was so bad, my physique, that some men were disturbing me. Like, I was like, listen, that's not my thing. But I was living a wild life.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Men
right.
men were like sending me messages like, listen, I said, no, that's
No,
not
that's
my
okay
thing.
if you swung that way.
You know what I mean? They had
No,
to shoot.
absolutely,
They
no
shot.
issue.
This was
Of
how bad it
course,
was. They were shooting their
sure.
shot. I had to shut down my social media page at one point because it's not my thing.
It's not your
I can
fault.
talk
It's
about
not your
it.
fault.
I'm comfortable.
What's
with telling you
anybody's
that.
business who you sleep with? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
really
but
understand why
the reason
noise.
for that was that at the time I was
It's
going
noise.
out a lot and taking pictures. I was on social media with some people who were actually gay and I didn't know. So their gay friends were looking at me
Oh,
like, well, you
I
took a
see.
picture with him. Like, I mean, I'm sure.
Well,
you
it's
were.
just a picture though, right?
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
Right to choose what kind of relationship it is you have and be upfront about it.
Absolutely.
Is self-love?
That's self-love.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And
that's
self-love
where
is
it
not
starts,
negative.
so-
And the self-love can sound negative, right? Selfish.
No, it's
no,
not.
but there's nothing wrong with self.
It's
There's
not
nothing wrong
exactly
with it.
It's
self-love.
like, but if you remember the thing I said, was
Yeah.
I wanted to work on myself. And that was self-love. Because I think that until you got the best of me,
Yes.
right, I wasn't worthwhile.
Okay.
And it was worthwhile working on me. And it paid off.
Yeah, okay. So
We all have to work on this ourselves. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I segue into one of the stories I told on Tuesday. I said that a relationship is not two half people. You can't bring half of one person and half of one person and make one person, which is what some people think it should be. It's two whole people who come together and bring the best of themselves.
Yeah.
So you self-love yourself, and you bring together and you create a healthy relationship. I think is what we're missing generally in society today. We're bringing
Filling each
damaged
other's
people.
cups,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
But the real love she learned was two whole people choosing to build something together, not two halves trying to make one. And here's a quote: "The strongest relationships are not built on dependence, but on two souls who are already unshakable."
So, Hank, divorced woman and mother who is now dating. So the question is, what does starting over in love look like in today's society, and also, but maybe bearing in mind everything you've learned because you've matured over time, right? You've grown.
So I was married for 19 years.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it does feel like starting over. Like, I hadn't dated a lot of people for a long time before I got married. It's
Yeah.
almost like I just,
Full stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
there are a lot of things now that I realize that I don't know about dating because I was quite shielded in my marriage. I'm learning how to date again.
Okay.
That's what it feels like.
Makes sense.
At your age.
No, it's true. There are certain things I do where I feel like, do you know what, you
I've
have
forgotten. Or
no, it's like I never had that experience because
Yeah.
I married quite
Quite young.
and didn't date for a long time, maybe max a year before I then,
Married,
yeah. So I've never been in a long.
So, are you
let me say-
dating or seeing someone?
Well, is there a difference?
There's no difference, right?
She's seen him and dating him.
You see, like, dates are like,
Okay, so
you're
yes.
trying, you've
see
met
it.
Oh,
you
yeah,
met,
met
you met
somebody
a
who can't
person
do it, yeah.
and you want to get to know them, and the opportunity to do so is to take them out.
Excuse
So-
me, is this Sam bringing in Gen Z version of
No, I think
dating?
I know what he means. Like,
I know what he's trying to
Because
say.
it sounds
You
like
meet
the
someone,
Gen
you don't
Zs
go and start
in
a
my
relationship
house.
immediately, but you go
I'm a-
out.
Yes.
I'm a- I'm
and
Well,
dating doesn't
it
mean
matures,
that you
it
can't see other people.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
be dating a few people at the same time.
Okay,
that's
but
what
that's
you
not
mean.
what we're
No,
saying.
that's not what I'm
So what
saying.
you're
No,
seeing
I
is
am
someone-
actually seeing
Exclusive.
someone.
Yeah,
so you're seeing
exclusive.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that's
I would say it's
the
exclusive.
Yeah, it's
language you're
exclusive.
seeing them.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so exclusive. Yeah.
Okay, so
Seems
so
like-
you're saying that there are new things that are that
So
you
how's
never
that different from
experienced.
marriage though? Just curious.
I don't know. I just feel it's very different.
Well, first of
I'm
all,
not
two
sure.
different people, two
No,
different
well-
personalities, completely.
But the same, but
The same
the
aim.
same fundamental is commitment, isn't it? That's the conversation.
Yeah, but
that
commitment
comes
in
up.
commitment in a more mature way.
In-
So
yeah.
we evolved,
Can't
right?
explain it. I'm not even sure
So,
how to explain
okay,
it.
let me attempt. Single mother, how does parenting shape self-love and the pursuit of romantic love? Okay, so
Tricky.
I think I'm trying to tie it in.
Tricky.
So in the marriage, so first of all, you're younger, and when you come out of the marriage, you then have the opportunity to explore a little bit more. So you meet people, you talk to people, you go for coffees, whatever, up on a plane. So you almost have like you have a choice, right? You have choices, and you can sit down and make a decision. Because I tell you one thing I do not want to be is divorced again. Therefore, if I ever got married, I'd be
It's
in
not a
there.
real thing, huh?
Well, that, and it's going to be till death do us part, right? Because nobody is going anywhere. Because I can't fail at this twice, right? So for that reason, you get to choose the best for you. But choosing the best for you is also self-love. So I love myself enough to understand what it is that I need from a man, and if you do not provide that, I will ghost you. Simple.
I think I'll put it this way for myself. There's certain things you can't get away with when you're in a marriage, but you can get away with it in a
When you're in a
relationship.
relationship. So
So
is it that marriage has a higher standard?
Yes,
or
they're just things that you just can't.
piece of
It does,
paper?
it does.
Piece of paper is
You
There's
very
a lot of
powerful.
pressure and also
Exactly.
things
So
comes in.
you're there doing things that
Expectations.
when you're seeing someone, they don't particularly like it, but you feel you can get away with it.
You're dating.
Do you understand?
But once you have that tag,
Yes.
wife, husband, everything
Yes.
changes.
Gosh. Okay, so this is another
It
conversation.
changes.
Let's talk
You
about
start
that
the
more.
way you view her
Right.
changes. Things you could tolerate before. There's a sudden there's a standard.
And
So
Fine,
is that
very-
good or bad? Because
It's
there are
bad.
people out
I
there
think
who
it's
are
terrible.
happily married, and I wish I could call them.
No,
to
but it
speak
depends
about
on what I mean by getting away with stuff. I mean,
But-
maybe just I don't know.
I don't even say I hear that. sorry.
I'm more impatient than
Okay.
in my
Because you haven't
relationship.
signed anything. There's no
Exactly.
contract.
Well, you're
I'm
saying you'll be
not-
more impatient if you're
Now,
dating as opposed to
yes,
if you're
Yes,
married.
if I'm married. Because
Okay, I think
things
for
you
men
just
it might be
have
the,
to.
I don't know. Some maybe the pressures apply
So
differently.
Sam's not married, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
you
maybe-
should be able to answer that question. As a
Yeah,
man.
so when you get married, I think two things change. I think for some men, marrying the woman and when she has children for you, something actually changes. It's almost like
In
a
the woman
change
or in the man?
in the man. I don't know if it's a commonplace, but I've heard this from others as well. The relationship kind of like almost starts to change to more like a brother-sister relationship,
Huh?
Or after a
Really?
while.
especially when you've had children with them and
That happens.
that starts actually it
Yeah,
starts
I-
with
I-
the
I
children.
think that was
Once you have
not my
children with a woman, I know many men. I probably have not articulated it, but I've as I
So that's
said,
a thing? She
absolutely.
becomes your sister?
It's weird. It just changes the dynamic. It's once they have children. I mean I don't want to say I personally went through it because I can understand but I'm speaking.
I guess that's when you guys have fallen out of love.
No,
And,
you can still love the woman. Like see men
But
that
there
have
there are
different.
different types of love. So it's.
But we're
either-
talking about different types of
And that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Love,
so
even romantic,
it
you're
You're no
continuously
longer
keeps
in love. You can love your wife, but not be in love with her.
And being in love with you see this was exactly so being in love is very very temporary, I'd say, especially if you're going to get married and start to deal with real life. real life living.
Temporary. So can you explain?
Because being in love, normally there are not much
Butterflies.
pressures. It's like, when you get married and you move into a house and start living with a woman, dealing with real life situations and have children. You talk of being in love, are you kidding me? How?
That's why love is a conscious effort. You guys have to keep dating.
And let me tell you something.
No, you
remember,
need to keep
everything
dating
I've
in your
said, I've
marriage.
spoken generally. There are
Oh,
always
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exceptions
of
to
course.
everything,
Spice
right?
it up. Otherwise, you're going to feel like what Ike is saying.
I'm saying, this is my experience.
It
has
feels
been,
like brother and sister. Because
especially
you
when you
guys are no
have-
longer doing stuff to
actually,
spice
what
up the
happens if you
relationship,
get married
right?
very early, and now had very long dating time with your
I
partner,
wouldn't say I even got married that early. I don't know.
and then you start having children
not
almost
after-
immediately.
Early, as in early in the relationship.
Oh,
so
I
you
see,
didn't
okay.
date long
You
enough.
didn't
Oh, yes,
like
that's
date
what-
for like
exactly.
5-6 years
Yes,
before you
before
had
I then got
children.
married,
You
okay.
met someone
Okay, that's
5
fine.
months into it,
Yeah.
boom, boom, children. That marriage is going to go through the test, man.
And some people don't make it. Sadly.
80% probably won't. And if they do are making it, there is they're just holding it together for other reasons, which also are valid for society, culture.
Okay, so if
everything
you're
else.
holding it together for other reasons outside of love, or is it other reasons? Is
But remember, there's still love is still there.
Yeah, the
traditionally.
fundamental, but then there are other add-ons.
Yeah, but marriage was never about love.
Thank you. Marriage, love
It
is.
wasn't. So why did we get married?
This is
I
the
thought
thing, it
because
was
we
never.
love
No, it's a legal status that confers legitimacy,
Yeah.
so that you can pass on your estate.
That's how it
Marriage was
started. It
something
started from land.
exclusive to
Yeah.
landowners
The marriage
in
is
the past.
actually because of a
So
way of
most people
protecting
don't recognize
land.
that
Yeah.
because the church took it over and religious people then put a condition in it. Don't forget the actual marriage is a legal document, is a contract.
It's just a contract.
Yeah. So the religious people have imposed an aspect of it that
Put a moral
brings,
element
but
to it. To
It's
make
about
you
legitimacy. The rules in this country at some point was that a father couldn't pass on citizenship to the child unless he was legitimate. Legitimacy meant marrying the mother.
and that's where bastard children came about. So, you
So
don't have,
marriage wasn't, it does confer that you're a team and it gives you legal status, but I'm not entirely confident that love is a thing. It does involve you loving someone and then agreeing that we'll be a team and we'll get this contract.
But it's more about
But-
committing.
Yeah.
It's committing. And nothing about for better, for worse. What about that? Like, I get
Walk
married
away.
if you're just going
But
to
that's
get
just
divorced. I mean, the whole
that's
thing-
just a religious ritual. The fact is, the when you go to a registry and get married, it's not really for better for worse. It's just like
Yeah, but it's doing what it's true. So it's the religious
So the
element.
So the
that-
religious ritual has introduced those things.
But
for
I
everyone's
think
spiritual growth.
I'm more inclined to go with that.
With-
With the like, if you're going to go before God and everyone and say I want to be married and say those vows.
What
I don't-
if God wasn't home?
Okay, yeah, that's different. No, okay, no, not God. No, this is
we
your.
also mean it, right, at that time, and then
Yeah, we
things
do.
happen.
Things do happen.
eyes
So
open.
nobody.
And this is why-
no, so nobody
you
goes
can't
there
just
thinking
generalize in life,
that
simply.
anything bad is
You
going to
can't
happen. You don't
generalize.
get married to get
You
divorced.
can't generalize.
You don't know you're
then-
going to get divorced.
But,
you know?
but I think that's so. My point is to get married. If we really understood what it, a lot of people will be jumping into it because of how fast people jump out. That's what I'm trying to say. I think people really need to understand what it's about, and it's absolutely.
So
it's misrepresented.
off-camera
I think.
people are also allowed to chip in as long as their voices are loud. So
So I had a very interesting. I was with 4 other guys, 5 guys, Saturday just gone, and this exact question came. Right, 5 of us are married, are still married,
Okay.
and one person asked if you had a chance to do it all over again, would you? 4 to 5 people said yes. You do it different, but you marry again. I think marriage, if it's marriage we're talking about, and in the context of love, it's about not just commitment, it's also about understanding yourself. And I think a big part of marriage as in any relationship is compromise.
Thank you.
If you're both able to compromise,
Then as like a
Makes
team,
sense,
right?
of
You want-
course, yeah.
there are many different factors that may not allow you to compromise, but if you can find that middle ground, then I think chances of it being successful or lasting till death do you part.
Exactly.
Longer.
Uh-huh.
So basically, what sustains the marriage is not the in love butterfly passion
It's not
per
always
se.
going to be there.
Yeah, it's more about a logical decision to you've weighed out everything like you've seen what's out there, blah blah blah, and these are the pros, the cons. But I don't really feel that the long-term marriage can be fueled with I see her and I just all the.
You know, I actually have a
Butterflies.
friend that said.
But if you get married late, sorry to interject last thing. If you get married later in life, you
When you're older.
yeah, like in your 50s, you could
Because
have
you've
that.
learnt.
Only that, and I'm speaking of people who get married in their 20s traditionally and expect to have
Longevity.
expect death to their part. That's what a kind of relationship I'm referring to. But if you get married in your 50s, well, I think this. Sam said, I don't know when you started your new relationship, but from what you were saying, I'm sure it was you were not.
Just
you
over 40.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but
There you go.
the part of that is when you're 50, the pool available for you to find is like worse than a needle in a haystack.
It really is. It really is.
So this friend of mine said, I would always marry somebody I'm compatible with, not somebody that I love.
There you go.
And it sounded strange at the time,
Yeah.
but now I get it.
Yes.
Okay.
Love
And that's what
dissipates,
Akin
man.
is saying about compromise, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all about compatibility. At the end of
Compatibility,
the day.
because that's what's supposed to keep it. The
Yes,
friendship.
and only if you're compatible would you be able to compromise.
And then,
Yeah.
I don't think
You
there's
know,
anything
so,
wrong with the love changing form. You know, I think it's natural.
Mate, I'm
Do you
not
too?
compromising, mate. It's my way or the highway.
Is
Yeah,
it?
That's it.
I
That
feel
doesn't
that
sound
too.
very accommodating.
No, but speaking is truth now.
If it's partner, it's
What do you mean,
It's-
my
it's
way
my
or the
way
highway?
But if it's
Your
partner-
way.
I'm
So
not
what about
compromising.
the woman?
Because the reason I say that is
Let's hear it.
I don't take a stand often.
I see
But
what
when I do take a stand,
What do you mean? What,
like oftentimes,
you have no expectations of her?
no, yeah, I mean,
No?
like oftentimes I'm agreeable, I'm amiable to things, but there are certain things that I contemplate and direct my mind to and understand that this is not something you experiment. This is what I want, and I know my own mind, and I'm not compromising. And the thing is that this is not for everybody.
No, this is what I said. This
So
is
you have to know
individualistic.
who you are.
Who
you have
you
to
are.
accept who you are.
So do you
Yeah.
agree? With
I totally.
So
I
I'm
do
not-
agree.
I don't. It won't work for you if you don't understand it because
Okay.
I was in another relationship where I was too agreeable.
That's
There
what
was
I do.
things I tolerated that I
Yeah,
should not
yeah.
have.
That- I
Because
know you're
I
speaking from
wanted
experience.
peace.
Exactly.
And I wanted it to work. But that was the wrong point.
It
'cause
backfires.
It what did it call? It stimulated a level of disrespect and
Entitlement,
contempt
yeah.
for me. Do you understand? So while I'm agreeable to certain things in a relationship, the truth of the matter is I have a very, very strong and independent woman as a partner. Do you understand?
Who understands
But-
that you want
But
to
she
be.
knows that there are, because I know my mind, there are things that she may not like to that extent. You understand?
Oh,
she,
yeah.
she may find herself
Look
like,
I'm a-
but the thing is this, I will always hear her out.
Okay.
I don't close my ears. I would listen to it.
So, Sam, I don't know if to give you a stiff drink or a
Why is
tissue.
that?
It's very, very passionate.
That-
No, you
They-
don't-
they
you don't-
attack Sam.
You see, when people are so resolute about things, you
You
need
have
to
to know your-
understand
you have to
why.
know your mind,
Nobody
right? You
just
have to know
starts
your mind.
sets up life
But-
saying, I'm not compromising.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
normally people who have over-compromised in relationships that end up acting or
The way-
speaking
Yeah.
like
as
he has. Because in
passionately.
truth, most times it is hardly ever respected, reciprocated, or appreciated
Yeah, that's the truth.
when you over-compromise. Especially,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, for females. Females are very, very complicated individuals.
Careful.
I'm just sorry, since you converted me. Very complicated. If you do a female's every whim, it's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Simply.
Well, you know, to be fair,
I'm sorry.
I guess men are men and women are women.
And,
right?
and that's
So
the beauty
we
of our
exactly
connection,
feel
right? We're different.
Exactly what we feel that you guys are from Mars.
And
You
I
know?
honestly
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
women are from, where are you guys from again?
Venus,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think invariably
it's-
we've answered this question. It says, do you think we're taught how to love, or do we figure it out through trial and error? So I think consensus, based on conversations,
But it
is
is-
through
it is
trial
both.
and error.
It-
I think
bit
it's
of
a
both.
bit of
A bit of
both,
both.
like Ike said.
Yeah, a bit
I
of
think
both.
so.
From
Okay.
watching movies as a teenager, like,
What's
you know,
Titanic
but-
taught you how to
that
love?
feeling, wanting to go
No,
on
but I think
dates
what-
and, you
I
know,
think what you learn is
Titanic, exactly.
what you learn are not how to love itself, but the rituals that are around love. Say, for example,
Dates,
when okay, I'm a fossil. There was no emails or telephone.
I like that.
So we used to write letters. Like if you fancied a girl back then, you wrote a letter and you put it in the mail and you wait for your response.
Oh dear. Hard times.
No, that's how it was then.
There were good times. You had pen pals, so you practiced
Pen
writing.
pals.
I had a pen pal. A couple of
I never
pen
did,
pals.
but I know people who did.
It was a different.
It was
way
so
to
pure
connect,
back then.
right?
The beginning of my poetry.
So those were the rituals then. Right now, if you're Gen Z, as you mentioned, you run into a female that you're attracted to, like, what's your snap?
That's it. But they're
It's a
oversensitive.
ritual.
Don't you think they're overexposed? We
No,
were
no.
underexposed.
They don't do
That's
it
why
the
we
way
had.
we do it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
you know,
understand?
it's a-
Like
it's a different
there was
world.
fantasy. I had a little fantasy growing up, but I see my kids. There's no fantasy.
Yeah.
Everything is
And even
there.
then we had us girls.
Do you know? Even
We
guys
had
used to. I mean, like
Barry White.
all of that
So
stuff.
we wanted
You know.
to hear that. So if you're not coming with,
I know what's funny. Some. Yeah, I
practice
was
what
for
you
you
say,
when we're
yeah,
getting ready
you
for
know.
a show. There's no love. We were saying that there are no love songs. Like,
because
perhaps
now
there's no love songs. Like,
in the
like
claims
we
to
had them.
listening to love songs, and I'm hearing, let's get it on in the back seat of the car.
There are songs I still listen to,
Of course.
and I recall
Barry
exactly
White.
what I was doing when I first heard that song,
Same here,
or
bro.
why I would play the song. to start with.
Yep.
Voice to men.
Well, I mean, like, I was.
Mommy,
Marvin Gaye, Tevin Campbell, all that sort of stuff.
And if you take it even one
Teddy
level up,
Pendergrass.
my
all
goodness
that.
yes,
gracious.
yes.
If you're sitting with my mother and so all of us can be sitting with my mom, and then Let's Get It On comes on, Let's Get It On, that smile on her face, and I'm like, ew!
Oh my God, you can think
I
about.
was like, stop it! And she's like, okay, say it
Let's Get
again.
It
I'm
On
like,
is so
never!
hard.
No!
You see that track? You see that track? Sexual Healing. You see that Marvin Gaye Sexual Healing? No.
That's
Sexual Healing. That track, Sexual Healing. No. There's a girl
Wasn't
somewhere.
that song a bit like
that
explicit
knows
for the time?
I got what?
every
Sexual
lyric
healing.
Yeah,
of that song
for the 80s.
Yeah, for the time.
Yeah,
Yes,
do you know what I
It
mean?
was scandalous
It's
at
a
that
bit
point,
scandalous
but
song
it's
at the
such
time.
an amazing song.
Sexual Healing, I
They don't do
remember.
it like
So-
that anymore.
No,
I actually
no.
preferred his older songs. Marvin Gaye.
course, definitely.
Because I grew up with
that goes
the,
without saying.
yeah.
Because we
Most,
grew up
most
with it
people
now.
are always nostalgic
mom.
about
That's
their
now.
thing.
Yeah.
The children of today, 50 years from now, I'll be like.
But
yeah, I
what
really
it shows
did
is that the love has changed. The way it's viewed, it's not. We had a more infantile and innocent.
I don't think we
Yeah.
encourage. I don't think we encourage love at all. I think, for growing up, the one thing that they were always screaming at me is don't get a girl pregnant, and I had to discover my sexuality by myself. You know,
Yeah, no
like,
one spoke to you
Gosh,
about
that
it,
sounds
right?
really dodgy. What does
Between-
that even mean?
discovering my sexuality.
By yourself.
As in having sex for the first time. As in, as in, I'm attracted to a woman. You discover that. You discover your own
Most people
sexuality.
because
like,
were abused.
don't
It's going to
forget.
be highlights, actually.
Yeah, of course.
What's brilliant.
You discover this, like, oh, I like a guy, I like a girl. You know what I mean? Like, when I was growing up, you used to hold hands with a guy, and you didn't feel nothing of it. There was no sexual connotation. nothing.
That's not
yeah.
the guys I grew up with in Benin
you
City.
too-
None of them held hands with each other.
No,
That's
I mean,
where-
But we were pretty touchy.
We used to put our
Yeah,
hands
we used
around
to hold each other
We'll
like.
take a shower in the same place. Didn't think anything sexual of it.
Absolutely. I went to
It's
boys'
usually
school.
that.
It's really bizarre.
Teenagers, yeah, there was nothing.
There was no hidden
no
thing with your boy
sexual-
and your boyfriends
But
and
you
everything.
just realized that when you looked at suddenly at some point, criminals were just girls, and then you looked at them, you could see the boobs, and you're like,
That's different.
Yeah.
That's new. This
And then-
is new.
and then
Some
you
of
got
us
this
always had that
obsession.
instinctive.
You got this obsession.
We didn't learn it. It was
that
just there for the
I want
war.
to see her panties. That's an
You
obsession.
want to see it.
Yeah, the color that
Yeah.
satisfied you. I want to see the color. That was it.
Yeah, definitely.
And those
You look so
girls,
weirdo.
unimpressed.
they guarded that
Just
stuff
weirdo.
like it was Fort Knox.
I'll show it to you when they like you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, fossil. I pull my hands up.
I think today love is
How old do you?
transactional now.
Exactly,
it's
this is my
changed.
point. It's too
Yeah,
transactional
it's
because there's too much.
Of
There's
course,
too
yeah.
much choice,
I
right?
talk to people that are 20s and 30s and they're talking about, oh, when we get married, we're going to buy a house, we're going to this. I'm like,
It's very transactional.
all
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah, you didn't know how it was going to
You
go.
know, you don't plan it out. You just got married because you guys, and it was nice
Fell in
to
love.
want to
I
build
wanted
together
to.
and everything. People weren't ready made. Traditionally, there's a version that we're born with toward marriage. I don't know if towards it.
So you have to get
Natural,
married.
no,
it's not
aversion.
natural.
Oh, aversion.
Yeah.
Oh,
And women have
Isn't
a
it
natural inclination to
To
it.
want to.
To want to.
Why do you think that though?
That's the thing. I'm
No,
trying
it
to
was-
figure
it
that
was-
out
it
because
was
it
a
really
cultural-
is an
it was a-
aversion.
it was
Most men do not. Growing up, that's not. You don't
It
go
wasn't
up
a-
with
it
teenage
wasn't a man's
friends
dream.
saying, "I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait to get married, man.
Yeah,
I can't
it
wait."
wasn't-
Okay,
Well,
but
Well,
it
to
could
females-
also be if you came from a home that had a very turbulent, like.
That's the exception,
It might
as I
put-
said,
it might
general
put you
and
off,
exception.
right? And then
or
you
it
have
can
that
even make
aversion
you
to
want.
marriage.
You can even want to. People who I've noticed as well. People who come from broken, turbulent homes at times don't follow the stereotype. They want to change
They
that
want to
narrative.
change the narrative, yeah,
And they put
most
in
of the-
so much more
yeah,
than
to
people
try
who
to
can-
be that.
sometimes. So
yeah,
you could go
to-
either
because
way.
they know what it is not to have it, and they don't want to.
They don't want their
Couldn't
children
it go
Thank
either
you.
way though?
Thank
So
you.
some of them are like, hell no. I
Or
don't
some
like
people
this,
are hell no.
that,
This is why you
this
see there's no
example.
general fast rule to anything.
Yes.
Everything is, but generally,
So it's
those
trial and error. Back
pretty
to what we're
much,
saying.
pretty
Okay.
much,
So
in effect.
you know how you guys were talking about teenagers and doing whatever, the innocence of it. This question says, agape love is unconditional, selfless love. Have you experienced it? Sounds like you guys have. What does it look like in practice? Can you remember?
When you say
Agape
experience,
love
No,
Um,
doesn't
experience, not-
As in-
exist in any marriage.
Agape love
No,
doesn't
but this
exist.
isn't necessarily about marriage.
Okay.
So we're now changing.
Oh,
it.
generally.
Oh, generally.
So
Okay,
generally
okay,
about
okay.
love. So when we're having pre-conversations, for example, and you said nobody has ever loved you unconditionally except your mom.
Yeah.
And I reminded you that
That
I've
you
put
do.
up with all
Yeah,
sorts
absolutely.
of shit.
Yeah.
With
So I've
regards
got
to you,
absolutely, yeah,
even
so-
though I've never been
Yeah,
romantically involved
yeah,
with
true,
you.
true.
So
So that's
That's-
why. So
that's
my point
agape
is,
love then.
I'm more likely, in my experience, to find agape love with people like you
Yeah, and
that
I-
have
I
that
need to
kind
put
of
up with my shit too,
relationship.
'cause I'm not
But once
exactly
the romantic element comes in, it seems to
fly out the window.
it becomes very
Transactional.
possessive. It becomes very fueled
objectified.
by ego.
So is that an easier version of love? Agape love is an easier. Like,
Agape
but does
love,
it still
love-
exist?
So this is my
Actually,
point.
does
I
it
think
exist in today's
love
world?
generally comes from one central theme: to love unconditionally. Like I'm not sure you
Regardless
can
of
switch on
whatever,
it. If it's true
yeah.
love, you
Okay.
can't switch.
Switch it on or
This
on
is
or
one
off.
of the
So, but
most impactful sentiments you can ever feel in life.
The
Love-
way
it's
you
not a-
feel it though is different. So, like for example, I don't think you look at me like in a sexual way. But
No,
you
but
still
I love you as my person, my personal person. Of course, it's and nothing will. So I find that I feel safer in that kind of, because there won't be any story.
There will
It's-
be no problems.
So when in normal relationship, it is conditional on behavior. The love is always
On
conditional on
behavior.
behavior.
Naughty corner.
If there's a misstep, the love disappears. How is
Does
that?
it disappears or
But I'm being extreme. But
Yeah,
let's
there are
just
problems.
just to yeah.
Okay.
But ideally, when you really say you love someone, you really gotta give it a shot, man. You have to.
But do you think your love could possibly change for Sally if she, from agape
Yeah.
to being in love with her as a male friend?
It's too late.
No, okay, no, I'll be mature.
Because
now,
I
so relax,
heard
calm
somewhere that you can't have just a platonic male friend. It doesn't exist.
down. No, you can't.
You
they
can.
they
You
all,
can't.
I said,
No, but I
said
actually
yes,
I don't know
you
about
can.
that.
Yes,
True.
But
yes, you
most males
There
will
has to be
tell you that
boundaries.
it's not,
No, there
it's
has
not
to be
true.
there has to be boundaries. There is no way
So-
I can be a friend to Sally as I could be to him or him. Do you know what I mean?
So there's
She's
it's still
female.
different.
There's a boundary, right? So
Because I was told that platonic, like,
it can change.
friends,
It can change.
they're just waiting for you to.
Okay. True.
For the-
It
you know.
is true depending on your age.
Oh, okay.
The younger you are, the less discerning or mature you are about the importance of those boundaries. But the older you get, the more control you have over those appetites.
Okay.
So having a platonic friend, female friend, is more of those intriguing and interesting enterprise. Like someone like for me, when I was younger and I liked relationships. I was in a relationship, and the chase of a woman was always a fun thing. You know, in comparison, I found myself as an older person really can't be bothered to chase a woman. This, you know, at this point in
Well,
time.
does she chase you?
Say again?
That's your preference, or?
No, I just look, because I'm quite pragmatic at this age. That when a female's attracted to me, I'm not flattered. She wants access to my resources. That's it. It's transaction. So I'm not thinking.
You don't
like
get
that.
tricked by
Exactly.
Your resources?
Yeah, like everybody, even
Breaks
like
down.
sometimes a female. Some men are attracted to a female because they want access to their resources, not just
Okay,
sexuality.
resources.
When we talk about resources, what are we
No, I'm
talking
saying
Not material
I'm
only,
saying
right?
that
Not just
I know.
material.
just being
I want
friendly
you to
with a
explain.
female at this point in time is very easy. It will not cross a particular point because why? The complication that comes with that, I'm aware of it. It's an absolute disaster. You know, like you know much. Like if I wasn't in a relationship, it's a different. Like there's women who will tell you, he's my male best friend. I'm like, you know, it's funny. It's funny. They're boundaries.
It's usually the woman that puts the boundaries.
Okay, look at
anyway.
an example.
Not
Never
the guy.
Listen, the guy.
It's
I will,
the
I will,
woman.
Yeah.
I will. Your life just can't be one thing. You're not an angel. You have to evolve. So I've evolved. So what you're saying is correct. Whatever stage of life this is, don't get me wrong. There are men my age who don't have the same discipline.
Or experience. It's the experience that creates the discipline.
Let me not distort the information.
Yes,
Because there are other men who, of course, will who understand what I mean. But there are other men that this is recreation for them. It's not as much as she's a female friend or not. For them, the new experience is always fun.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
So let's do a comparison.
Yeah.
So platonic or sibling, whatever, like normal,
Yeah.
non-sexual versus sexual, romantic love. In terms of impact, is there one that's better than the other? Should both of them necessary for human survival? Because we all need love in this world.
I think it's easier to survive with this.
Actually,
Oh, sorry, the phone.
yeah. But yes,
You get more. You probably be more fulfilled in the short term when you have that singular
in the
sexual.
short term, but in the okay. Oh, okay.
But
okay.
if you
Got
that's
it.
all you have, it can fail, and when it fails, you can find yourself very, very alone. So
Yeah.
if you give all to just focusing love to romantic, because I believe as humans we have a lot of love to give. You know, it's not just one person.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't think it's right to just love one person. Of course, romantically, yes, but you should have space to love other people.
In
Not
different-
women.
I
In
still
different
think we
ways.
need both.
In
We
different
do
ways.
need
Wait,
both.
I didn't say we don't. I'm
Yeah.
saying if I had to choose over time,
You need
if I was
both.
going to
Which
choose
has
both,
been
you
more
need both.
sustainable.
romantic,
Yeah, that's my
and
point.
then
Which is
the,
more sustainable. That's what I'm
agape,
saying.
so
But of
to
course, you
speak.
need romantic love.
What
of course.
would be the upside of a romantic love at that
Upside?
stage? Yeah, that was the upside. of it.
Everybody needs a kiss and a cuddle.
Yeah, but that doesn't have
Everybody.
to. That doesn't have to be on the basis of love. There's affection.
No,
There's in fact,
sometimes
you know,
there's
but it
a
doesn't
there's
have to be-
difference. There's a difference when you.
But you
kiss
can
and-
only show affection if you
Thank
love someone.
A
How
lot-
do you
a lot of
show
women
affection without
find
love?
it difficult to disconnect. So a kiss and
Yeah,
a cuddle
exactly.
with a man is probably going to trigger. Then you just notice like this guy is, all man, and you're a girl, and you when the minute you feel.
You just want to
The minute
feel
you feel
sexy,
safe,
and you don't
you
want
feel
the man.
safe,
Yeah,
you feel,
yeah.
and then especially if they look at you and then that makes you feel sexy, you feel
Yeah,
good about
exactly.
yourself. You can't. It then
Yeah,
becomes
do you think
emotional.
men feel that way?
Yes, yes, but then I think men are.
Of course, we
more
put a spring in their step
capable,
when we
of
show them
course.
love.
Men
Say
like
again?
ego
We would
boost.
put
Men,
a spring in that man's step if we show them love.
the ego boost for a man
Of
because
course.
man is the hunter, the this, the
Right.
that. So when you show them that they are they're the provider, they're the
Yeah.
big bad guy,
Yeah.
then they feel good about themselves, and then they look to you for that. So sometimes that can make them look at you in so they want you, right?
There's a type of emotional connection you make with people in your life, or people that have access to you, which is based on some degree of love. That's how I interpret it. So if I don't have an emotional connection with you, love doesn't exist. You're just an entity that I'm familiar with. Do you understand?
Is love black and white? Is it? Do you love or do you not love? Is it that simple?
No,
No, I don't think it's black and white.
I think it's simple. It's just a matter of degree. So there's people you meet and you just despise on sight. and there's people you meet
Despise on sight.
that
I know.
you know you're open. You see, like, okay,
Open to-
let me. The first instinct in a man's head, not at this stage, who is looking at a woman with a romantic perspective. I'm searching, for example. Every woman that walks through, the first question I'm asking myself is, would I have sex with her? As a
That's
first
it.
question.
Not now though, not at this age. At this
No,
age.
I'm saying
Oh,
at the
okay,
time if you're
okay,
looking.
Yeah.
That question.
Now, what
that,
do you
no,
ask?
no, no.
Nothing.
I asked
Nothing.
Say again.
Absolutely nothing.
I mean,
I don't
like,
think anything.
They've broken your heart into
you see,
They
the
didn't
reason,
break my heart.
the reason you ask that is the first
That's
barrier she
jaded.
has to get over is that attraction. And ultimately she can end up being a friend, just an acquaintance of the person, but because you find them appealing to that extent, you allow a particular type of connection with them. And you will meet some females be like, nah, none for her. It doesn't matter the way she's attractive or unattractive. Just
Okay. So, let's bring the self-love thing back in. Do you think self-love affects the quality of relationships? If so, how? So I think, first of all, what exactly is this self-love that we're talking about? So, Ike, please, what is it? What is it? And
Self-love. I guess just respecting yourself, knowing that you're human as well and you have rights
and needs.
and needs, and you didn't come to this world necessarily to be supplement or supplicate somebody else's needs and desires. You didn't come to the world to necessarily validate people or give them a reason to live
Or die.
or die. That we are basically functioning together as a
It's
team.
an unfair ask.
This,
for
and a lot of
somebody,
people
yeah,
do it. A lot
yeah.
of people do it.
Yeah. What do you think?
For me, self-love is really putting myself first. You can't give.
You can't not.
Yeah, you can't give from what's that saying? You can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And then how can you possibly love someone if you don't love
Yourself. True.
Because it's really just like the law of attraction too, right?
Absolutely.
You don't love yourself, you're
You're gonna
You're
attract-
gonna
Also, you
attract
attract
people
like,
who don't love you
Exactly.
because you don't love
Exactly.
yourself. So
yourself.
it's all about energy.
It's all
So
about energy.
you
So,
need to love yourself,
And
and then
respect
you
and,
exactly,
yeah,
and then
yourself.
you attract the people that.
So
So
that's-
self-love is
so-
healthy and good.
Yeah.
But everything in life is in
It's about
moderation.
balance.
Balance.
I was going to
Yeah.
say balance and boundaries, and I was going to take it to Mr. Extreme here because he's going to obviously take us on a journey with this. So,
Especially as you're looking like this.
Look how Sam was looking at you like, Sam is already the emoji, bro.
my contemplation with regard to self-love is just an epiphany I had because I travel a lot, I fly a lot, and I've watched the safety briefing on the aircraft a lot of times, and they'll tell you that if the cabin depresses, the mask will fall from the ceiling, and they always tell you wear your mask
First, before you can help.
yourself,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the best
And
example.
once
actually.
you understand what that means, is that if you have a child, while you're fumbling trying to help that child, if you don't get oxygen and you pass out, you both die.
Exactly.
So if you have people who depend on you, you have to look after yourself. I contemplate my actions before I take it. So if I've directed my mind to think about something, I judge that that's what I want. So when you ask me, why did I do that, I'll tell you. And I'll be like, that's what I want to do.
okay.
And if it's wrong, I'll own it. I'll take responsibility for it. And that's what you have to respect. So again, with the self-love, I'm just, the thing is that I don't like people who try and portray themselves as humble people when in fact they're
Humble,
not.
okay.
Yeah, and they're virtue signaling in terms of this self-love thing. And then they look at you when you're doing pragmatic things to ensure that you're capable of being available for the people around you, and they say, "Oh man, but you're selfish." Yeah, sure, I am. You
Okay.
know, sue me.
So I mean, we live with people in the world,
Yeah,
right?
nobody's
So
an island.
we need to really incorporate in our behaviors and attitudes and other people's feelings reasonably. You can't walk around saying "fuck everyone." I mean, some people deserve it. Most people do. Don't get me wrong,
but you're not obliged. But you're not.
Shame we're not naming names.
No, but you're not obliged. You're not obliged to.
No, you're not.
Because
It's a choice.
We as
mate,
humans
actually.
don't have a capacity. Do you understand? For me,
Capacity.
to be just open to everybody's needs.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So for me, I'm
It's not-
ambivalent. I'm not gonna be negative, and I'm not gonna participate
Yeah.
unless it's necessary. Because I don't have the bandwidth. I'm sorry.
As is in terms of that self-love and everything, my starting point in any relationship even this my relationship, I walk past you on the road is the golden rule, which is love thy neighbor as thyself.
Spot on.
So exactly what I expect from you is
what
and when I say expect, I use that very loosely. So if I'm walking past you and I catch your glance for a second, I will nod, I'll say hello. And it's not about where it goes or anything, it's just very simple.
Are you talking about a female or just anyone?
Anybody,
Female, it got me in trouble with female because
they're thinking, that's why I asked you that, because I would never nod to a female, I'm sorry. Every time a man talks to you, there's that thing that he wants to try
and
to
some women,
hit
anytime
on
you compliment some women,
Yeah.
they think that
automatically
you
you're
like
trying to
them.
hit on them.
But some men just
Automatically.
compliment women.
There's some people just say you look nice, but I wouldn't do it now because it makes.
Why would you compliment
puts you-
a woman that you don't know?
Oh, 100%.
People do.
What's wrong?
Guys do that all
What's
the
not
time.
looking nice?
No,
What's wrong?
no,
with that?
hold on.
I'll go to a bar
Let
and
me-
I'll buy a lady a drink that I don't know. I don't want to talk to her.
But you're just being gentlemanly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting drink. Can I pay for it? And I will walk away.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that's happened to me. The woman will come and say, "Thank you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine,
It's
perfect."
a
But I want to talk. I'm like,
It's
I
a
really-
strategy.
Subconscious.
It's an absolute
And
strategy
it works
for
like
a pickup, and
Yeah.
it works.
It's like that.
It's nothing. It's a strategy. I've actually been in a work environment, not actually paying attention to a woman, paying attention to another woman who welcomes, but there's nothing beyond. It's a third party that says, "I don't like the way he's looking at that girl."
Oh my God.
Can you understand what I mean? Like, so if you cannot be unaware of this thing,
No, that's absolutely, as a black guy, you have to be very.
you have to be mostly
But I
aware.
also understand that it's nice to people like this. Also.
Of course, because
Yeah, it's
sometimes
true,
it's
though.
just for the sake of
Yeah,
kindness.
that he's not being weighed down by the issues.
Yeah,
me
you're
and
not
him
worried
have,
about how,
like,
what people, how it
Yeah.
might come,
Yeah.
come
I grew up,
across.
my dad died when I was very young, so I grew up with my mom.
Oh.
So maybe that has some sort of influence in terms of how I.
Probably has. It's helped. Yeah.
You cannot speak for all the guys. I'm
No,
sorry.
you see us.
You
You
always
see us.
think you know
You see,
it.
like sometimes, right? There's certain fundamental things. There's a playbook for women. There's a playbook for men as well. Particularly when it comes to relationship. There's things like every single woman will do as if you all went to the same school. Every man will sit and have that conversation. Say, she did that, yeah. And men are the same.
Well,
So,
yeah,
and we
so
know.
that's why there's
So we know what
stereotypes, yeah.
we know what strategies are.
Okay.
So I have a question. Does society put too much pressure on romantic love? Why do we celebrate it more than self-love or platonic love? It's pressure. It's for things like Titanic, right?
Yeah, of course.
No, I think
It's
from-
all
It-
about
it's-
merchandise.
It's about
Yes.
commercial sales
It's a
calendar.
commercialized event.
When you look at it,
It
right?
is.
So
You
love
have-
sells.
Yeah,
Love
you
sells.
have
Absolutely.
Christmas, you have Valentine's,
Love
you
sells.
have Easter, you have Halloween, and then you're back at
It
Christmas.
sells mortgages.
So-
it sells
yeah,
many
yeah,
things. Joint mortgages.
yeah.
And more income, earning income. I mean, it sells so many things.
Okay,
But
so that's why.
also,
that's right.
let's not
So there's a
forget.
lot of pressure on it for
Yeah,
that
but
reason.
let's not
Okay,
forget that
okay.
it's also a cohesive factor in a society.
It is. That's what I said. It is necessary for structure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why it's necessary for children to grow up in a structured
Yeah.
environment. So this is
Yeah.
the
So
price
with mommy
we
and
pay,
daddy.
and this is what our parents understood when they stood by through their marriages.
Yeah.
I don't think they had perfect.
Regardless of their happiness.
Oh, they were like, screw that.
We go die
But then
here.
with our own generation, it became about, this is where the self-love now became. So this is the thing now, when you have children and all, how does this self-love work? So you're in a marriage.
No, but it's still important.
It's still
Because
important, because you have to like weigh out, like, what about my kids and marriage? But I'm not really.
Happy.
But what about the responsibility to these people you brought to the world?
Well,
Yeah,
but
that's a difficult-
I mean, being
that's a
together does
difficult
not
choice.
necessarily mean that you.
Don't you think children are better off when their parents are together?
So,
I mean, of
in an
course,
i-
it's
in a-
nowadays
in-
it's
in
practically
an-
impossible.
In an ideal
In an ideal
world.
world.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In an ideal
However,
world, yeah.
if you don't have that, it's not the be all.
No,
and
of course
end all.
not. I'm not absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Okay.
saying. But in an ideal in a world, I
If
think
they're better off if the parents are actually getting on. If
Okay.
the
If
parents
they're
are
not.
not getting on, they're
True.
worse off.
Okay, yeah.
Research says
true.
children
That's a
that
good
are
lesson.
from divorced parents,
Can be happier.
they're happier.
If those parents get along.
If they
If they're not
obviously
toxic together.
co-parent amicably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're happier kids.
So that actually love is
Okay.
more stable.
Okay. Question: Valentine's Day. Do you love it or hate it? Can I go first? I have mixed feelings about it because I'm a hopeless romantic
I
and I
know.
love flowers and chocolates. However, today's world
Sally, you're
is
so
so
cute.
messed up. It's so messed up. It's tragic.
Is that also strategic? Are you looking for flowers and chocolate?
That's a woman's strategy.
Since
right
everything-
there. They will start saying that.
Maybe we're gonna get flowers and chocolate.
That's what we are now.
One chocolate and flowers.
Chocolate.
Yes, Sally and I want flowers and chocolate.
We want flowers and chocolates. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on, especially with things like social media, right? Everyone is showing off their roses, this, that. If you don't, then
I
you
actually feel some people buy themselves flowers.
No.
No, but then go and say, oh, it's for
Yes.
anonymous.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Somebody. So
It sounds
I
very,
think
like,
I
beautiful.
think in the past, I probably was in the category of people who might feel some kind of way that I didn't get flowers, for example. If I didn't get flowers, I think it creates too much hype about artificial things, things that are not really. So there are people who celebrate Valentine's Day inadvertently every day without there's no
This
fuss.
is look.
Right?
Valentine's is a scam.
Yes, it's
There's-
commercial,
it's
right?
co-
It's commercial
it's scam.
bullshit, basically,
It's-
in a sense.
I mean, I look.
Can I say that?
It's cheesy as fuck, man, but it's good too.
Why am I looking forward to what Sam
Because maybe some people take that opportunity to express their love to someone they've been admiring
and it's
for a
Valentine's Day,
while.
so maybe that's
They
okay.
take that.
Maybe that's
Yes, that's
So
the
maybe-
Valentine's I like. The ones where you used to send notes to girls in class.
Exactly, in
Or the
school.
other school.
They wouldn't
you
know
be
you
my
had a
Valentine?
crush on
That had a
them
big
until
song.
Valentine's Day.
But husband
Then
and wife,
open
20 years
I
in the
used to get
house.
cards
Big.
in school.
I'm sorry, I don't know. It's,
Try sending Valentine's to someone.
Did they do that now?
They will use stalker's law to
Oh,
come
yes,
and arrest you.
Stalker's law. You can't do that, man.
You can't
But see how
send-
society has changed so much.
But saying that though, friend in Lagos, Jania. Hi Jania. Her husband
Jania.
is probably she's gonna on Instagram
Hi,
tomorrow.
Jania.
Let's all go check out her page, yeah.
Okay.
Because first thing in the morning, we're gonna see like a big bunch of flowers from Chukuma, her husband. It happens every year unfailingly.
Oh wow, that's
I used to
amazing.
get flowers
See-
every Valentine's
see
Day
one
from my
chance.
husband.
You perform three things. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not hard to set the reminder to send flowers. Everything can be automated. So it's not really. I'm not diminishing the young.
Hey
the
Siri, please set alarm.
No, what I mean is like those,
Whoa.
those kind
You
of
see,
things.
like, if it's something
Don't
that
have to
I've
wait.
ever done romantically, I probably would continue to do that. But I don't see.
Just
I'm
from
not
nowhere.
that
If it's
guy.
out of your character.
Some people are like,
Okay.
you know, there's some
Yeah.
people that are
Okay,
like that.
that's
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
accept that.
It's symbolic, and I think it just depends on your relationship.
There you
It's
go.
symbolic.
It works. It may work. It may not.
It's symbolic, as you said. It shouldn't
If
be.
you're comfortable, you discuss it. I mean, I get flowers. Let me get flowers on Saturday on 15th instead.
Practicalities of married life.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, it depends on the relationship. Some people expect it.
Yeah.
If you don't do it because that's the nature of a relationship, then it's a problem. If you do it when it's not expected, that's also a problem. So it just, I think,
Why?
it's
And I would
As a
never
man,
want to
yeah.
demand
You
for
see,
it
like,
because
once-
to me it's a force the guy
With
to
women-
buy
with
me the
women.
flowers or to. I would love it if the guy can use his initiative.
just get-
And if he doesn't use his initiative,
you see, that's the
It's
trap.
going to also bother me because
Yeah.
I'll think,
Well, the
oh my
fact I'm
god.
agreeing a woman, that's a trap.
That's a
She's
trap.
initiating.
No, it's not a trap. I'm not going to say, oh, I hope you're going to get me flowers and
You see,
chocolate
I
this
think I-
Valentine's
I
Day.
think
No, but we
I-
hope.
I would
lots of the time,
want that you did it
If you
anyway.
want something, I'd rather you tell me. Okay, this year I want.
But that is a very strange
No,
thing to
but then
ask,
that means
though, as
it's
a
very
woman. I
strange,
can't
yeah.
say, please, can you go out and
But
buy
baby
me
flowers for Valentine's Day.
No, because
Why? They're not coming from your heart.
It ruins everything.
Then
That's what makes it
If I
commercial.
don't want to do it, I'll say I'm not doing it. It's okay, we'll do it another time. But if you and I'm so sorry, I forgot, or thank you for reminding me. I don't think there's a problem.
Well, remember to buy me flowers.
Flowers, like, I don't think it's something
How
you can.
unromantic.
Yes, very unromantic.
The funny thing is that,
Say
like, I
flowers.
will buy a mother of my children Valentine's flowers, even if I'm not with her.
You buy her.
Yeah, I will. I won't
I
take
think
an
I
issue.
got that for a while.
I won't
and
take an
it
issue
stopped.
with
Oh,
that.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I used to buy my
Then
mom
it
flowers Valentine's Day, and then when I stopped, she got very upset.
Yeah.
There were nice things like when Stella and I first met, I used to put a particular song on her profile every Friday, and the song had meaning, and she loved it. I did that for like 8 years. And
So you just love
And I was just
technology.
like, I was just tired, and I didn't do it. Man, come and see attitude. It would.
Well, because
Vexing.
sometimes, also, I think women are creatures of habit.
I know.
So if something is a little bit,
Because
off,
you have been so.
then we notice, and then
I
it
don't
Want
know
the love to be
music.
expressed.
yes,
Yes,
also
sir.
expressed
There are
and
many ways to
also
express love.
also consistent.
There's
So-
many ways to express love.
Consistent, though.
I know,
Okay,
but
so here's the thing, right? When we first met, she used to insist on waking up in the morning and making me breakfast, right? When she stopped, I didn't leave. I wake up, go downstairs, and make my breakfast. That's the difference between us men and you women. When you choose to stop things you're doing, I'm not beefing.
I love the way both of you are quiet.
That's more emotional. That's why we like you guys, because you guys are different. My friends who complain about women like I do, well, it's like they can't be gay, right? Because except you want to hang out with a man. But if once you're with a woman, you're going to have all these different stress points.
You can manage it. You can manage them.
It seems like that's just the way of the world.
That's
so
exactly
I think we
what-
can,
yes.
we can talk about this from now till thy kingdom come.
Nothing
and
will
there'll be no
change.
resolution,
No
there'll be no
resolution.
solution.
Men
Or
are
can we
men,
just
women are
agree that
women.
self-love is supreme?
Absolutely. And it's very necessary.
Even you agree?
That's what he practices, man.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is the
sure.
king of self-love. Yeah. So he
Yeah,
doesn't
his own
compromise.
version. His own version, yeah. The voice, do you agree?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Self-love. Okay, so apparently we have to finish with a one-liner. It's what's the best lesson you've learned about love, whether from a parent, a partner, or from heartbreak?
Yeah, I was
You
gonna say
cannot
that.
pour from an empty cup. So
Okay.
fill up your cup first before you try and extend to other people. Otherwise, you just carry your dehydration and give to them, and both of you end up dehydrated, and then problems, damaged, broken.
Yeah,
Everyone,
also.
nobody's whole, nobody's healed, and yeah, it all falls apart. And that doesn't only extend to romantic love; it extends to all relationships, all human interactions.
Absolutely.
I think so. That's my take. Who wants to go next? The voice.
Yeah, I can't.
But-
Fake practitioners.
What does that mean?
As in, people don't know what love is. That's the
Okay.
main lesson I've learned.
Do you know what love is?
I don't even know that I know, but I think I might have a closer understanding of it from my experience.
Okay.
Losing parents early, all sorts of things. As I said, to me, love is so complicated and so overused. It's actually quite insulting the way people talk love. I know.
I agree.
It's
I hate
annoying.
it. I hate
They
it.
don't
So,
understand it.
Yeah.
They should just shut up. So
Yeah.
you see, it's a powerful word. That's the only, I believe personally, that's the only reason we're here, to learn that.
In life,
It's the
in this
summation
world,
of
in
our
this-
world's experience.
I actually agree with that. I
I
think
think
at the end
we're
of
just here for
the
love.
world, at
That's
the end,
all you can take with
end
you.
of life
It's all.
is what you did.
What
it's
you
who
did.
you were.
The energy,
The-
that is,
yeah,
and
the
love
love you
energy,
gave,
exactly.
The things you did,
You received,
what
gave.
your tombstone will eventually say, your
It's not-
reputation.
That's all about
what
it,
did you
because
bring?
as he said, treating neighbors like yourself. That's all
Love your neighbor
the
as
umbrella
yourself,
of love.
yeah.
And I can't be so rooted in this romantic, because it's really very misleading to just believe that's all love is. There's a much deeper element to it.
Yeah.
So
No,
for
I
me,
agree.
love is a conscious effort. It's like a plant. You've got to water it, and then it grows.
Yeah.
If you starve it of
It
sunlight
dies, it dies.
and food, it'll die. So it's a doing word. Every day you have to make a conscious effort to love whoever it is.
That's from a romantic angle.
Yes, from a
And-
romantic angle, and even with everything else and everybody else. It's a conscious effort. Even with friendships and
Of course,
everything,
yes.
you've got
Yeah.
to nurture it, right?
Yeah. Love and
Um,
support. I think one of the things that actually brings us together is this empathy thing that both of us have, and the hunger to support.
Exactly.
So if you're down, I know, and I want to fix it. And if there's something you want to do, so I
And
think
vice
that
versa,
is
yes,
very
yes.
cute as well. Actually, if I do say so myself. Yeah.
If I just say so.
Hey, that's a good,
That should be a
Yeah.
song from JC, right? If I just say so myself.
Yeah. If I do say so myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Synergy.
Okay.
Thank you with,
You're giving Sam my poor Sam a tough time.
You go.
Ever since he said that, it doesn't compromise.
I think from the three responses I've listened to, it's quite obvious to me that
Oh dear.
for me, there is so much more in life to learn, and there's no absolute understanding of anything.
Absolutely.
And you have to always approach things with an open mind and the willingness to learn.
Thank you.
Because if you, I don't particularly like to box myself into a situation. So the 3 responses are of such diverse perspective that I have to understand that it's a continuous thing to understand this thing called love.
Yeah.
It's just not one thing in the shape. So unfortunately, if there are lessons I haven't learned.
I think love can be simple, love can be complicated. It really depends on how you approach love. And back to your first, what this is about loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else.
Yeah.
And that would always reflect in all your relationships. So simple as that.
Perfect.
And you know what? We're still learning to love ourselves.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
that's
we're
true,
finding
yeah.
issues in it. It's a continuous journey.
And we're probably
Yeah.
going to keep learning until the day we die. Probably learn something new on your deathbed. You know.
I'm sorry, it's because I love you, I'm here. Otherwise, I'll walk away.
That's some part of love too.
So the first day I met Aki, I had crutches. Everybody was ignoring me. I was going to work, and I was the lift was broken, and I had to get up the stairs to go to the train.
And Aki carried you.
Okay, he didn't carry me. I don't think he would have been able to. But
Just a random meeting,
we
yeah?
met at Watford Junction
Oh,
station.
wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
And then he helped me up because I was struggling. He could see that I was visibly struggling. And then we got
You
to
see
the
that
train.
nature of his help, that
Yeah, it
he
was very
approaches
kind. It was
everyone.
very, very
Yeah,
kind, and it's a very attractive, quality
Yeah, of
to
course.
see. So it was refreshing because, like I said, it was rush hour. Everyone was rushing for the train, but he
I
didn't
know people
mind.
always ask for our number.
You didn't. You actually did.
No, but you do have a very nice aura, Aki.
Yeah, he does.
Because there's
He
some
does.
people that,
He
you know,
does.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
I've
that's why he
have
doesn't,
been-
you know,
I've
it's
I've
not
had
been
people come in
tainted.
and I've
I
been
know.
introduced to them, and then I just feel
No,
like I
you
have nothing
look,
to
we have
say.
energy. We know we operate on the
You have a very good
subconscious,
energy,
subconscious.
actually.
Thank you.
So, hasn't this been interesting? We've been talking about the variations of love, an interesting segue from the event on Tuesday. I hope you've enjoyed the conversations. So, with us today, we've had Ike, Sam,
Right.
Eng, and The Voice. Firstly, I'm going to thank you for joining us, and I'll wrap up in the end. But before that, I think final word should go to our special feature today, The Voice.
Thank you, Sally. As a final thought, this episode is bigger than Valentine. This isn't just an update about love, it's about rethinking love. It's about self-worth, survival, and what it means to build love that lasts. Thank you.
Okay. So you've heard from The Voice. I hope you found this very entertaining, interesting, insightful, educative. Even if you have any questions, please ask. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, share, send us your thoughts. We'd love to hear it. I'm Sally Chiwuzie, host of Chronicles of Unshakable Truth, your best podcast, and I'll be back next week. In the meantime, I shall leave you with the motto: unshakable is a state of mind. Take your state of mind with you everywhere you go. Be unshakable. Be in truth with yourself. Love yourself. Thank you.
Don't be
Bye.
shook.
Did you enjoy that? I certainly did. I enjoyed hanging out with my friends anyway, that's for sure. So if tonight has taught us anything, is that love is not a single thing. It's not just romance. It's not just sacrifice. Love is what sustained us, whether it comes from another person or from within us. The only love that truly lasts, the only love that stays, is the love we build within ourselves. So this Valentine's Day, whether you're celebrating with a partner, with friends, or on your own, remember this: you are worthy of love. You are worthy of care, and the most powerful love story you will ever experience is the one you write for yourself. Because when you love yourself first, everything else, every relationship, every connection becomes stronger, deeper, and more.
But real love, she learned, was two whole people choosing to build something together, not two halves trying to make one. The strongest relationships are not built on dependence, but on two souls who are already unshakable.
And if this episode resonated with you, share it. Let's make real conversations about love go viral. Tag someone who needs to hear this. And most importantly, love yourself first, always. Yeah, self-love is supreme. Unshakable is a state of mind. Take your state of mind with you everywhere you go. Be unshakable. Be in truth with yourself. Love yourself.
To crumble and fall on the mountain, to crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no.